Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm Miss Lisa, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about everything that I want to in science and math. And what we're going to be doing today is learning how to graph an inverse function in a TI-84 graphing calculator. This is for people in my Algebra 2 class, but anybody is welcome to learn this. Right? So we are going to do what it's telling us to do in this Algebra 2 book, but you don't need this book to be able to do it. All right, so this is it. To graph this function, first we're going to, I'll turn off the calculator first, just in case you don't know anything. I'll turn on the calculator with that button. Now I'm going to go to y equals, because that's where you put in things you want to graph. And I'm going to put in the formula that they want us to graph the inverse of. It's 2, and then this is the button right there for x. See how it's got an x, t, theta, n on it? 2x. And then, what's the rest of my formula? Minus 5. Minus over here, minus in the middle, negative at the beginning. Since this is in the middle of the equation, we use minus 5. Okay? So let's just go ahead and graph that so you can see what it looks like. All right? Actually, let's go back over here. I kind of want to change the color of it so that it'll look better. Let's see. Let's make it not blue. Let's make it red. All right, we're going to go down to OK. All right, now let's graph it again. Now it's red. That's what I wanted it to be. All right, because my inverse is going to be in blue. All right, now how you do inverse, how you do it not on your calculator, you have to go watch my other video for. But we're just going to show you how to graph it. All right, so now there's more than one way to do this, which you've probably figured out by now. There's always more than one way to do it on your calculator. But this is what we're going to do. I don't know if you can see it, but right there, can you see how it says draw? I don't know if it'll focus on it, but right there behind the program, the second program is draw. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do second program, and we're going to go down to number 8, draw inverse. Now, we have to tell it what to draw the inverse of, and there's more than one way to do it. One way to do it is to go to vars, go over to whoops, I messed up. I hit graph ahead of time. Let's try it again. Okay, back to draw inverse, and we want to get to what we're drawing the inverse of. We're going to hit vars. We're going to go over to y vars, and then we're going to say function. And we're going to say enter, and we're going to select function. I don't know if it doesn't sort of not want to focus here. The first one is y sub 1. We're going to select that one. So it says draw the inverse of y sub 1. We hit enter, and dun dun dun, there it is. Yay! Okay, I'm going to show you an easier way to do it now. So I'm going to clear that out to make it start over again. I'm going to put it back in 2x minus 5. Okay, and now here's another way to do it. Do the second program for draw. Go down to 8 again, draw inverse. But this time, we can do alpha trace, and we can select in the shortcut menu that popped up 1, or hit enter, draw inverse of 1. So we can hit graph, or we could have said enter. Well, I probably should have said enter. Let's go back again. Let's quit from that and say enter. Now it's going to do it. Dun, dun, dun. Can you see it? It's sort of being confused by my lit screen. It should be happy about my lit screen. So there it is, the blue line. Okay, I'm going to show you one more way to do it. There's 3 ways to do this. I'm going to show you all 3. So, and this way, I think is how you would do it on an 82 or an 83. So this is sort of like the old-fashioned way I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to go back to y equals. I'm going to clear that out to start over again. I'm going to quit, make sure I'm getting out of that. I'm going to go back to y equals. I'm going to put it in again, 2x minus 5. Oops. Okay, now, or I can graph it and make sure it's just there, not the inverse. Okay, this time I'm going to quit out of that. And this time I'm going to start once again with second program the draw. I'm going to go down to number 8, draw inverse. And this time I'm just going to type it in. I'm going to say alpha. And then y is number 1, painted on. I don't know if you can see it back there. See how there's a little y back there? So I'm going to say y, and now I'm going to just hit 1. And it says draw Y1. It's not all cool. Let me see if I can get to focus on that. It's not all cool like a little subscript, but it'll still do it. I hit enter. Oops, it did the wrong one. Okay, don't do it the old-fashioned way. Don't do the typing it in way, because it did not do what I wanted it to. It just did Y. So just do it one of the new 2 ways. Okay, forget that last way that I showed it to you. I had done it that way before. Draw inverse Y1. I bet we'll subscript 1. Y1 is something different on here. So read back, if you have to do it this way, if you have an 82 or an 83, look and see if you can find what you do for the Y1. Because I did Y number 1, and it probably needs to be a subscript. So read all what's painted on the back and you can figure it out. Now, why do we even care about this? Why do we want to do it? Let me exit out of that, and I'm going to delete. Let's see if it'll let me clear some. It cleared it all. Anyway, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to draw this line? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is if you are doing this problem and you have to graph it, and then you have to graph its inverse, and you need to state the domain and range, it is really helpful to do that, to be able to look at it, to see what it's doing so you can state the domain and range. And then the other thing is if you do the inverse and you figure it out what it is, then you can type it in here and see if it does the same thing, if it graphs the same thing, and if it does, as when you drew the inverse, you knew you did your inverse problem correctly. So it's a super powerful tool for being able to check your work, which is really important in things like especially a college test, where you want to make sure it's right before you turn it in. When the stakes are high, you want to be able to check your work and not just guess whether or not you've got that problem right or not. So super powerful tool and pretty fun, because you usually don't get to use the draw button right there. And it's like, ooh, what's that for? Well, now you know. You can use it to draw the inverse and to check your problems. All right? Math is great. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.